guys, welcome to another Android Studio development tutorial. My name is Lawson Luke. So in this video, we're looking at how to create a calculator application in Android. That is, we'll be using Android Studio to create exactly what we have here on the screen, exactly. So the video is going to be in two parts. The first part, which is what I'm doing now, I'm going to work on designing the buttons, the look and feel of the calculator, and the later part, which should be part 2, we're going to work on implementing the button clicks and generally the whole process that makes a calculator work as it should be. Okay, so let's dive into the tutorial. All right, so go ahead and create a new Android Studio project. I already did that. I call it calculator, so you can call it whatever name it is you want to call it. Calculator looks fine anyway. Okay, so this is my layout file here. This is my main activity. So what I want to do first, I'm going to use an external font for this calculator. So I'm going to create a folder for that and import the font and then call it in the application. So to do that, just go to this URS folder, right click on it and go to new, and come down here and you see folder and go to font resource folder. So you click on it. So I don't want to change the location. I want it to be exactly where it should be. So I'll go to finish. All right, so you can see. You can see I have a font folder created for me. All right. So what I'm going to do next is to grab that font and put it in this folder. So I have a font I downloaded online. Should be so I'm using this Axonix. Copy it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm paste it here. So I'm just going to make it small later. Come on now. Okay. Okay, so I have my fonts listed out here. So what I'll do to make it apply to the whole application, come to this is style layout, and I will just call the font resource here. So here we go, item name equals, there should be Android font family. That will call out font Axonix. So I already listed out there for us. So you can see, so this is how to make it work. So hopefully you'll be able to see the effects as we begin to type things there. All right, so next we're going to start by building the layout here. So first off, I'm going to change this to a relative layout. So I'm going to use a relative layout here. I'm going to get rid of this text because I won't be needing it. Okay. So what I'm going to do here first is to have a linear layout. So my linear layout, I'm going to set it to the width to match parent. Then I'm going to set the height to wrap content. I'm going to give an orientation of vertical. I'm going to set a padding of 30 dp. Okay, so I want to give this an ID because I'll be needing it. So I'm going to give this an ID of I'll call it linear and score result. Okay. All right, so how I want this calculator to work, I want to have two views. I'm going to have a text view which will display the result of the calculation, and then we're going to have an edit text placeholder as well, which will get received inputs that will type in the calculator. So let's design that. So first here, I'm going to use text view. So for the text view, I'm going to set width to match parent. I'm going to set height to 65 dp. Okay. So for the text, I'm just going to put a placeholder text here. I'll just call this 0. For text color, I'm going to set text color to black. For text size, I'm going to set the size to 28 sp. I could change that later though. And for padding, I'm going to give it a padding of 10 dp. and I'm going to set text alignment. Text alignment, it should be to text end. I'm sorry, this is text end. Okay, and then I'm going to set background. I'm going to design the background in a moment. Here, I'm going to give this an ID of txt underscore results. Okay, so I'm going to have a background element which I'm going to design in a bit. Okay, so the background element, what I want to do is to create an XML file for that instead of just calling a random background here, so that it will be easier for me to just call that, and also to apply some styling like corner radius as well. So what I'll do, go to your drawable folder and right click, go to new, go to drawable resource file. Okay, so let's call this calc underscore back, whatever you want to call it though, sounds good. Okay, so we'll have this right here, so I'm just going to increase it a little. So okay, so what we want to do here, let's set the height. Android layout height. Let's set this to wrap content. We're going to do that for width as well. I'll just copy this. This should be width. The width should be wrap content as well. Okay. Alright, so here I'll have item. So here I'll have shape. Here, so I think I should just close this. Or I should just finish typing this. Okay, so for item, then I have shape here. I have Android and have shape. Should be rectangle. Okay. So here I'll have solid. Android color. And what I'm going to do, I'll call this color here CH4D 5C3D. Okay, so here we'll have corners. Set the radius to 5 dp. Okay. All right. So as you can see on the screen, we'll have it here. This is exactly what I want to do. Okay, so now back to this our calculator. All right. So for here, we're going to set background. Then we'll call drawable calc back. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So next, what I'm going to do next is to create for the edit text. Yes, I'm going to create for the edit text as well. So here, let's go to edit text. We'll set this to, the width should be match parent, and the height should be 65 dp as well. For text color, I'm just going to use same parameters as the first one. Text, there won't be text there, so there'll be text size. I'm going to use 728 SP. I'm going to give it a padding 10 dp. I'm going to set text alignment. Should be text end as well. And I'm going to set background 2. Okay. Okay, so it kind of works good for me here. So there's this you can say this line here. Let me just put this on full screen so you can see. So you can see this line here. I don't know if you can notice it. So I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do, just move it forward a little. So what I'll do here, for this one, I'm going to set margin top, say 5 dp. Actually, I should set minus 5 dp. Okay. This is showing. Maybe I should set it to minus 10. Okay. So you can see it's all covered up. Wow. So that looks nice here. Okay. So proceed to doing the next thing here. So what I'll do here next is to create another linear layout that will hold the button. So I'm going to nest everything inside the linear layout, so it actually works good for us. So outside here we'll have another linear layout. So this will be match parent. This will be wrap content. I'm going to set our margin top to 50 dp here. Orientation, we'll set orientation to horizontal. We'll set gravity to center horizontal. I will give this an ID. Let's call this ID. Let's call this linear layout 0. Just some random texting. Okay, so now notice that the ID for this linear layout is linear underscore results. Okay, so this ID, I'm going to structure this linear layout should be under this one here, directly under. So here I'll use the below. Should be this. Yeah, so you can see it's beneath it now. Okay. Okay, so you can see now we have it here. Okay, so next we'll work on the buttons here. So I'm going to design the first button, called the button widget. For the width, I'm going to set it to 90 dp. For the height, I'm going to set it to 65 dp. Okay. For text, I'm going to set it to sign here, so as you can see there. For text size, I'm going to set text size to 22 sp. That looks big. Okay. For padding, I'm going to set padding to 1.618 dp. For text color, I'm going to set it to black. It's already black anyway. It's 3, but just use it. For style here, I'm going to set the text style to bold. Okay, so let's look at it. Okay, looks good. What I want to do next, I'm going to set clickable. Is it clickable? Set it to true. For crossable, I'll set that to true as well. And for the background, I want it to be white. So before I do that anyway, I'm going to set the background of this calculator just like we have it here displayed. This should be somewhat black here, so I'm going to set that. To do that, I'll just come here and set background here right away. So I'll use 4C 4E, I think. Okay. All right. So now let's check it out. Okay. All right. So what I want to do next, this looks gray, so I want to make it. I'm going to make it white. For that, so to do that, what I will just create a color dynamically. You can come here. I'll just copy this, and the name should be color BTN. I'll just use white because I want it to be white, so it's to be 1, 2, 3. So just go back here. So set the background to add color. And so it's white now. All right. Okay, so what we are going to do, I think I should reduce this to 90. Let me see. I should just make it 85. So I'm going to copy this here instead of writing this again and just paste it. Copy this and paste. Okay. And just paste one more. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so here we'll have our orientation here. So for padding, I think I'm going to set padding here. TP has this, there are no spaces between these. So what I want to do, I'm still using background, I'm going to use tint. Okay, I'm going to change this to tint. I'll change this to tint as well. This should be tint. Okay, so what I want to have here, just here is sign here, so here should be course. This one should be tan, and this should be here, should be backspace. Okay, so but to call the backspace, I need to use a character. To do that, go to strings. Let's go to strings here. So I'm going to use the American Standard Code for Information Interchange units here. Kind of works good, makes a lot of sense to do that. Okay, so to do that, I will declare a string resource here. Okay, call the name should be, let me just call it delete. Okay, so for the delete, I'm going to pass in this code right here, u 232b 232b. Okay, so hopefully that should work. So come here to the calculator, we'll just call our string delete. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, so what I want to do, I want this particular button, this particular button here, I want it to be maybe red, just some visual, nothing really serious about making it red anyway, but just so that you can have a different feel from the other buttons, so the user knows that that's a very serious button. So I'm going to use red color here. I'm going to make, since this is red, I'm going to make this one white, so the text color should be white. Okay, so let's see if it rhymes with what we're doing. So you can see, makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I'll move to maybe actually I'm going to remove this padding here. So we'll have to create another linear layout as well. Okay, so to just save time, what I'm going to do, I'll just copy this and just duplicate them. So, but then I have to change the parameters too. Let's copy this too, so that I won't have to start writing the same thing over and over again. Okay, so this should be linear layout 1, the ID. This should be below linear layout 0. Okay, as you can see, these shouldn't be 50, should be 10. Okay, so oops, I forgot to give this an ID because it's not actually necessary for the design, but when we want to make functionalities, add button clicks, we need to find all these buttons by ID. So I just think it's best to do them here. So I'll just call this btn sign. I'll just copy this and duplicate them here. So this should be btn cost. This should be btn ton, and this should be btn del delete. Okay, so this is it. This is this. So for this one, this should be btn 1 here, because this is a whole 1. So this will be btn 2. So we'll change this to 2. This should be btn 3. So we'll change this to 3. So it should be 3. Okay, yeah, so this should be btn plus here. So here we'll just change this to plus. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this again and paste it again. So, because it's actually the same thing, so it saves us a lot of stress from trying to do the same thing over and over again. So this is going to be error, of course. So, but then now this should be linear layout 2, and this should be under linear layout 1. Okay, so as you can see there, so we're going to have 4, 5, 6 minus. So this should be 4. Here should be 4 as well. This should be 5. So change this 5, and this should be 6. 6. Change this to 6, and this should be minus. So I'll change this to minus sign. Okay, so now I don't want this to be, I want this to be of a different color. I'll just let me just designate the color here. So this should be color funk. I'm just using a color called burnt orange. This should be CC 5500. Okay, so now we're back here. So instead of using these colors for this one, I want them to these operations should have their own unique colors here. So this should be color funk, not this one, rather this one. Where is it? Okay, here. So here this should be color funk. This one too should be color funk. So that's guys how to add if you want to add colors dynamically. So one huge advantage of this is that if, for instance, I change my mind, about maybe this color, for instance, I don't have to go to everywhere I've called the color and start changing them individually. I could just go to my color, here, my colors file, and just change them dynamically to affect everything. So that's one advantage of making your colors dynamic. Okay. All right. So next, this should be 4, 5, 6. I want to do 7, 8, 9 multiplication. So again, I'm going to copy this here and just paste this. Okay, so errors too as well. So this should be linear layout 3. Why showing errors? Because you can't have two resources cannot have the same ID. It has to be unique. So this should be 7. Okay, so this should be changed as well, 7. Oh, sorry. I think I'm changing the wrong one. Am I changing the wrong one? Okay, so yeah, this should be linear layout 3. This should be below linear layout 2. Okay, so okay, that makes sense now. And so this should be BTN 7 now. 7. This should be BTN 8. This should be BTN 9. And this should be multiplication. So just call them all. So here I'll just use times here. So I think we got one more to go. So I'm going to copy this again and just duplicate them. So now here this should be linear layout 4 and it should be under linear layout 3. There you go. Okay, so now I want to have this should be 0. Okay. This should be 0 as well. This should be dot here. So this here, I'm going to use divide here. This should be divide. Now I can just call divide is not, we have to do it the same way we worked it out for this backspace here. We can just call divide here. I don't want to use the forward slash. I want to use the actually the divide sign itself. So we'll go to strings here. I'll just copy this and replace this. I'll just call this divide. And so here I'm going to use 00F7 00F7. Hopefully that should work. Should be this one, I think. So here I'll just call delete. Was it delete? Divide. Okay, so you can see it. There you go. And for the color tint, I want you to have these operation colors as well. So this should be color funk. And I want this to be white as well. Okay, so this will be equals. So here should be equal sign. So what I want to do here, I want this equal sign should have a different color. Maybe something like light green or so. See if I can use a light green color here for this. What color can I use? I should use H20B E. That's it. Okay, so it looks good. So now guys, we have this interface and we have the IDs up and running. So if you can go back to what we set out to do, I think we've kind of achieved that here. So come back here, so you can see we have this stuff here up and running. So we can actually test this on the emulator to see how it works out. So just run this. Okay, so it's coming up. It should be up in a bit. Okay. And there, so here we have it, guys. Okay, so you can see what we can do. There's a space here. So what we can do is to move this forward a little. So let's go to should be this one here. So top shouldn't be. Let's make this 10. Okay, so let's run this again and see what we get. Okay, so guys, so you can see it here. So let's what we can do, we need to make some adjustments as well. What we can do, let's remove the padding. Let's make this 10. And something simple, and see if everything fits in. So that's it, guys. When you work, most times you have to test the application and see what you get on the screen. Usually what you are seeing on the emulator might be, or what you're seeing on the design interface might be something different from what you get on the emulator. So I think this covers it. Maybe I'm going to shift it up a little once more. How about I make this maybe 6 dp here, and this here, I'll just make this maybe 8. Okay, so let's run this again so that we can have a full screen. Okay, so it should be up in a bit. Okay, so this is it, guys. So this is a sign, okay, but in focusable, so you can see, but nothing is happening because we have not added the functionality. Okay, so as you can see here, so everything is responding to touch because of the focusable, true. So guys, this is it for this first part of the tutorial. And the next part of the tutorial, we'll be looking at how to implement these functionalities. Okay, so thank you for watching this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more notifications, and give us a like, give us a comment, and we'll see you in the next video.